Am I man enough to ride this KX500? We'll see. Why did they stop making 500 two-strokes? The KX500s ruled the desert. 500 cc's of manhood right here. Everything's been modified on this. With the TMR decomp on the head, this thing's easier to start than a 250. $20,000 in this thing. No bolt untouched, nothing on this bike was left stock. This is our KX500 from our buddy Donnie. We built this thing a few years ago for motocross action, and this thing's incredible. Went over everything on this bike. We'll give you some quick highlights, but the big thing we're going to be doing today is we've added a Rekluse auto clutch to kind of tame this thing down and make it a lot easier to ride, especially on the motocross track. So with this bike, the big thing is that we went through the entire chassis, frame, everything, and on this bike, we welded on mounts for wide pegs from Raptor. TMR, Tom Morgan did the engine, put the auto decomp on here. Not an auto, you hit the push button for the decomp so that you can kick to start this thing a lot easier. You can kick it easier than a two-stroke 250, so a lot easier that way. So we've done everything to this bike that you can imagine, every little bit, so forth. It's got the modern front end, it's got the modern rear end. Everything we could do, we kind of did without going too crazy. But easy to say, this thing's got 20 grand into this thing. If you were to buy it and try to build all this stuff on your own, it's an incredible machine. So to make it a little bit more friendly for the track, we added the Rekluse auto clutch. And so what we wanted to do was kind of test that. We've ridden it just a little bit, but today we got myself, Spencer, Donnie, we're all going to try this thing out at Glen Helen and kind of give you our thoughts on what it did to this KX500, if it made it more friendly for us guys that are a little less skilled, shorter feet, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so a lot of custom bits on this bike. As you can see, we modified the rear of the bike. The KX Guru guys helped us modify the rear so that we could fit the KX450 rear wheel and brake setup, as well as same thing up front. We had custom clamps made from us from the late John Duffy with Applied. He made us some custom clamps to fit in a KX250 front end, forks, everything that Race Tech went through and did for us. We even did a few modifications to the rear shock as well to update that. And like I said, Tom Morgan did the engine, and he makes it so it's a lot smoother and easier to ride, but with good, smooth, easy to ride power. So he's really popular with the KX500s. He was actually a race mechanic for Kawasaki back when these things were new. He was wrenching for Jeff Ward on KX500. So he learned these things really well. Got the V-Force reed cage, Tom Morgan's jetting specs in there. We have a new Clark tank on this thing, moto seat, decal works, ODI bars and grips. Of course, we got our Dunlop tires, a lot of works connection bits on this thing, spec bolt throughout the engine and so forth. And the thing just looks amazing. Also runs pretty dang good, as you can hear right here. FMF just has the gnarly for this thing. We had to custom make a rear silencer for this thing that we were able to retro up since we wanted it to be a kind of a moto setup, of course. Now, on an older bike, the auto clutch is a little bit more of a hassle to set up because you don't have the hydraulic clutch like you do on a lot of the off-road bikes that we've put it on. So you do have to take off the cover when you want to adjust the free play gain on is how much adjustment you have. We got Cody riding this thing. We got myself riding this thing. Got Spencer chugging and ripping this thing. As you can see, I'm a bit scared. I'm just wanting to survive and get my time in and make sure the bike's good. Wow. Little scary, little bit of vibration, and Tom did balance the crank to get us less vibration. I got Spencer in here because, to give you a quick history of Spencer's riding, he rode 2-strokes as a kid, obviously, because that's all there was. He rode 80s and 112s, and then a 125.
That was it.
And then a 300, but on the trail. On the track, basically little to no, just a little bit of 250, once in a while, a YZ 250.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 4-strokes. So
yeah.
Coming off of the 4, and today you rode did you ride the 350 at all today?
Nope.
No. So just the 250s, 4-strokes.
250s.
What'd you think of this thing? Straight out of the gate. What do you think?
It's better than it should be. The suspension's really good, and it is fast. It is. We've had that 450 RX the past year.
Yeah.
It's so much faster than a 450. It's not even close. It's like, obviously it's a 500, but this bike is very old. But it is so fast, and the suspension, because we updated these forks and we did a lot of work on the shock in the sense to make it work really well. The suspension works awesome. I was doing every jump. I was even doing the one before the start straight onto the log jump. Kind of it hurts even on a 2-stroke, a modern 4-stroke. It was still hurting, right?
So it's surprising what we've been able to do. It's basically a 35-year-old bike that's been updated, so way older than Spencer. And it's pretty amazing what's been done here. And the clutch, what do you think of that clutch in the turns with this big old chuggy power?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's definitely, if I was to have one of these bikes, it's like no brainer.
Yeah.
To have it on there. This bike already didn't have a lot of engine braking even without the Rekluse. So adding the Rekluse means it's basically zero engine braking, but that's okay because we have pretty good brakes and we keep them bled. And so all you do, you leave it in second and third, ride the track. Second and third, fourth on the straight, maybe.
I don't know if I even counted gears. I was just I think I was too terrified.
You're like holding on for dear life, right?
So anyway, really cool bike. Really fun with these updates. The KX500, everybody loves this bike. When I start this thing up, everybody's,
people are
talking.
filming me.
Yeah.
Like they're filming just because it's a KX500 on the track. It's just like they never see it, right?
It's like when you see a 57 Chevy on, in town or whatever, fixed up, or a Camaro or whatever, older, it's like, it's this thing. And it is pretty cool that Donnie could have this thing as a big memento. So anyway, fun times. I'm glad you liked it.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so I think we've covered about everything. Got everybody riding this thing, and everybody had a good time. I don't know if anybody would want to ride it full-time for their only bike. Also, we're paranoid of damaging this thing because anything goes wrong, it's a bunch of work. We don't want to be putting a bunch of time on this thing because of that. Now people go, well, that defeats the purpose. Well, when you're fixing up, again, like a 57 Chevy or an older Camaro, you're not going to be out there daily driving that thing. You want it to stay looking nice and just be a showpiece, and that's what this thing is. So this thing's probably not going to get ridden a whole lot more. We're going to clean it up really nice, freshen up. It's going to be a showpiece for Donnie. We haven't been huge fans of auto clutches, but on this bike, with this much power to kind of manage and be worried about stalling it in the turns, it really helped solve all those problems for us. So really liked how you're able to come into the turns with confidence that you weren't going to stall it. Kind of didn't matter what gear you were in, this thing would just pull, of course. So to be able to just be kind of in third gear and just lug around and not worry about stalling it is just a great feeling on this big, gnarly machine. All right, remember to like, comment, subscribe, check out all the cool stuff we have. You can email me for any questions. Don't DM. You can go to our website to find our contact. Email me for any questions, tire stand drawings, any of those types of things. Questions for our podcast, all that kind of stuff. We got some cool footage to finish this thing out. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.